Hello, everyone, and welcome to this beautiful morning, and welcome to dear Sandra Hillawi. Hello, Sandra.
Good, good morning. Good morning, Sylvia, and everybody watching. Good morning.
Yes, watching now, watching in the future, hundreds of years from now. Yeah. If
It's not.
hundred,
It's a nice thought. It's a nice thought. This
it is a nice
legacy
thought.
of
Yeah.
creating these things that are there forever. Yeah.
I have said that Star Matrix is my legacy project. That's my legacy project, my gift to the world, as it were. Now I had to create all of modern energy first before we got Star Matrix, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Well, it's knowledge, it's learning, it's experience, it's finding the way from where we are.
yeah,
And so we're going into it with all that knowledge and experience and awareness.
yes,
So, and understanding more of what we're discovering because
yeah,
of that as well.
yeah.
So it does stand on the shoulders of where we've come. Yeah.
Yeah, without modern energy, there would be no star matrix. Simple as.
Mm.
Couldn't have done it without modern energy at all. So, but here, the reason we're here this morning is yesterday you recorded an interview with Dieter Maas. Now, just for Sandra's just started her second star matrix training. She's the trainer, obviously, just in case somebody doesn't know. And she's got 12 people on the course, and she felt moved to do an interview with one of the people on the course, Dr. Dieter Maas from Germany,
Mhm.
which I will link in below this video and have a listen to that. It's quite fascinating. So I was listening to this last night, and I thought to myself, ooh, Sandra had a star event with one of her participants. One
Yes.
of her participants had a real, what we call like a threshold shift,
Hmm.
had a star event of healing, of evolution, of transformation. And yeah, to her, this was
Hmm.
a miracle expansion. And Sandra was with her when this happened. She was like in a therapy client situation. And this is one of the things I talk about in Starline therapy. What it feels like for the therapist when the client evolves,
Mm.
what that's like, and how that creates a star event for the therapist.
Yeah, I haven't written it in my book, but it was a moment actually. It was awesome to witness and to it was like a wow, where we just were
Hmm.
and where we came by just applying the principles. And one of the because we were working on something, a previous star memory with this person, and actually it triggered a painful memory came up as a result, and she absolutely went into the energy of
Hmm.
that past aspect
Yep.
and in a very painful way, and like, well, how can I ever be positive because of this?
Yes.
And so but the awareness of that, she just plugged in, she just, attention has gone there,
Yep.
triggered, but her attention went there, plugged into that energy, and it all came rushing out into her experience.
Hmm.
And so having the awareness of that, what happened, I said to the client, okay, so you've just plugged into that. Let you can choose. Shall we try to just plug into something else? We know that's there. Let's just choose to plug in to something else.
May
So
I
she
just
chose.
briefly say something for the people who are
Mm,
watching and who don't know what star matrix is or how it works?
yeah.
Is that Sandra's course and this experience happened on the second session of the 12-week course, on the second session.
Yeah.
And what
Mm,
happens, I have taught this course many times by now. What happens is when people come into Star Matrix, they are so entrained to only ever think about trauma. The train tracks in their brain towards trauma are
mm,
so enormous that no matter what you ask them or no matter what you do, they're always going to at the very beginners, they're immediately going to some trauma. I've
yeah.
just had this last week with because I'm on session 3 this week, so that was session 2 last week. And the question was, yes, okay, I remembered a happy memory, but then immediately I thought, oh, this is just such a trauma because I'm so bad, and
Mm,
I don't deserve anything. And I have to say to people then over and over again, that's okay. Everybody does that. We are so
yeah.
brainwashed to look for trauma all the time.
Mm, mm,
It's just the effect of having had this for so long. So I'm like yourself. I said to the lady in question, okay, say just thank you very much about the trauma memory. Let's just
yeah.
refocus
Thank
back.
you for Energy Mind for bringing it up. Yes,
Yeah, thank you
we
very
got
much.
that. We know it's there.
Yeah,
Yes, but
okay.
let's now.
Go
Yeah.
back to the star moment. Remind me, what was the weather? What
Mm.
was the situation? What was happening in this star memory? And so then people start talking about the star memory, thinking about the star memory, and then something tremendous happens. And this happened for you. What happened?
Well, so I asked her, choose what other star memory or positive memory um, do would you prefer to choose to
Yeah, could
log
help us
into?
now,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah. And so she chose one, which was, where she's, doing her thing that she's
Mhm.
brilliant at. And as we unpacked that, and she started to tell us about that event, her energy started to change, and I got her to tap also to do some tapping to bring it faster, the energy, and the revelations and the realizations that she got about herself and the meaning of that and the love that was in that from the people who participated with her in the event, and her own love and who she was, and all of this totally lifted her. She shone. And the other thing, because she had this background kind of breathing problems, allergic thing going on, so she was physically very uncomfortable prior to our, session altogether. And so even it had an impact on her physicality
Mhm.
as well as
Oh,
her
lovely.
completely shining up.
Yep.
Um, and I witnessing, knowing what she just plugged into, which was, justifiably you would feel painful emotions about. Um, and then just unplugging and plugging in to something else, and that energy streaming into you, lifting you up, strengthening you, empowering you again, lighting you up. And then I'm sitting there thinking, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
That's the star moment.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
star, your star
mm,
moment.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what I
As a
wanted to
practitioner,
focus
yeah,
on. That's
yeah,
what I wanted to focus on. Oh, wow.
yeah.
And that's your star moment. And one of the things that we do in Star Matrix when we're getting along a bit further and people can do it is we say, what was the message of that star event for you?
For me, as a facilitator,
Yeah.
um, it was, well, as I said in the other video, it's like I feel like I'm still learning, even though I've been doing energy work for 20 years with all our modalities and healing traumas and everything for so long.
Hmm.
And I feel this direction, I'm learning new things.
Cool.
And so it was like, well, yeah, this does work. There, yes, this really does work. There is something here that we are discovering, and okay, and a motivation to, okay, I want to do more. I want to let's carry on learning about this. Let's carry on learning about this. Yeah.
There's something there's something here that feels holy and right. That's what I had
Yeah.
on a
Yeah.
similar event with a person. There's
Yeah.
something here that is right and true, and that is in some, it's holy. That was my meta comment.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
similar thing. Holy as in love,
Yeah.
spiritual.
Yeah,
Great.
that's what came for her, the client. And that's, the beauty of the moment is that to have facilitated bringing the client into that state of being, of
Yes.
awareness, knowledge, state, transformation or threshold shift.
I've done,
And
I had this with I've done something right. This sense of that I have done something right. I've done something right, which is
yeah,
in sort of psychotherapy is just a weird thing because you don't get that sort of feedback in psychotherapy type
mm,
counseling sessions. You don't get those sort of explosions of happiness in the clients. This
yeah,
this is something that, unique to energy work. You only get
yeah,
that in energy work. You don't get that anywhere else. Don't get
yeah,
that in medicine. You don't get that in talking therapies. You only get that in energy work. That's
mm,
what it. But
yeah,
this sense of I've done something right, and the star memory that I'm connecting to is the one that I have mentioned so many times before. The client who had this terrible childhood, and my aspects were just so tired of talking about the trauma, and they asked for a happy memory and really insisted on a happy memory. And the client eventually gave it, and this was the orange jelly in the sunshine, where the child had been locked in a trailer, where the parents had gone for party and just didn't come back. And he
mm,
was locked in the trailer for like 3 days, and finally this little child, 4 years old, broke out of the trailer, just hacked away at the window screws until the window broke, and
mm,
crawled out, went into the trailer, looked in the kitchen. There was nothing to eat. Apart from on the top shelf, there was some orange jelly stuck to the back of the shelf. And the child took the orange jelly, like a packet of jellies, took it
cubes.
outside, sat on the step of the caravan thing, and ate those jellies in the sunshine. And
Mm,
they were just glorious, beautiful, and that's what he remembered. And when he remembered that, this flood of admiration for this child, the strength, the intelligence, the
yeah,
resilience, the power to create that star event of eating those orange jellies in the sunshine. And that just blew me away. That blew my mind. That
yeah.
blew
Wow,
my
that is a
mind.
wow. Yeah,
That was
yeah.
such a,
For that revelation to come to him, to the
yes,
person about himself,
yes.
that was like, wow,
I've never
wow.
seen anything before that moment. I have never seen anything like it, of a person literally going from this traumatized, creepy person
Yeah,
just unfolding into this glorious, loving being,
yeah,
and with the admiration of the young aspect, what that it wasn't about all the bad things that had been done to him, but the insane strength in this little child, the intelligence, the
yeah.
resilience, the
Wow,
not giving up.
wow,
It's completely life transformational.
wow. Yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
happened years and years ago, and I just had no
Mm,
framework to put it in.
mm,
But
mm,
what that did for me as a therapist or a healer or whatever the hell you want to call this now,
mm,
um, I can do something amazing. I can help people have experiences of healing and transformation. I can
mm.
do that. I can do this.
Yeah,
Kind of answered the question of whether I was any good at being a therapist or whether I should ever do it, or do you know what I
mm.
mean? It just made a huge difference to me.
Yeah. That also, the feeling to me that I helped to help to create that, to
Yeah,
facilitate. I had the knowledge and the skill, if you like, and the confidence
yeah.
to guide,
However, and
to
God's
guide,
blessings
to just.
and the luck of your own life and your own life's
And actually,
experiences.
the luck of my own life, because the morning before, again, here's the thing, my own energy was on the floor. I tuned into something that lifted me up slightly. And then I said to Dita, come on, let's do a spontaneous star matrix kind of session. And then this person came into the session and was the subject of the session. And then that interview came, she got this transformation out of it. I got this
Star
wow. And
event.
even Dieter was witnessing it too. And he was like,
Wow.
wow, he got
Yeah.
something out of it as
I
well.
could I could interview him too, and ask what messages he got from that, what he learned from that about himself, about life in general. The wow moments is that place where we learn, not when we're hearing about the trauma. And that's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to,
Yeah. Yeah.
tell
And
people.
also I'll say for myself, let's say the spending time, even I didn't do my own, tapping into my own star events, but facilitating that process is also a powerful experience for me.
Great.
And that strengthened my own energy.
Of
It
course.
strengthened me in
Every
my own
every
journey, which
star
is
we have.
enough for anybody to cry about as well. So
Yeah.
which I could. And then the realization that, okay, the circumstances is still the same, but I'm in a different state, and so I'm not responding to those circumstances in the same way because my energy is stronger, and so I can
Different timeline
got the
comes
power.
into being. A different timeline comes into being when your energy higher and making these different decisions. Our lives are built one tiny micro decision at a time. And
Yeah,
when we're energy higher, we're making different decisions. And you literally get a divergent timeline, different reality creation. You're
yeah,
creating a better reality, an easier
yeah,
reality for
yeah,
yourself by
mm,
being energy higher. This is a
mm,
fact. But
yeah,
let's just go back a moment here to this star because I've just written this book called Starline Therapy.
yeah,
And this interview is absolutely a part of me wanting to sell this book to as many people as humanly possible. And the only thing is that you really do need to read Star Matrix first.
okay,
You need to read Star Matrix first because Star Matrix doesn't just explain Star Matrix. It also takes you through and starts you on that path of starting to remember something good about your life.
mm,
And you and Dieter were talking about that. It's like actually training a muscle. It is
yeah,
like that. We're creating new train tracks in the brain from, as you're saying,
mm,
instead of plugging into endless trauma, we're plugging into something else. And those
mm.
pathways don't exist yet. We need to make
Yeah, we need to create them by
Yeah,
practice. By practice, and this is why also the Star Matrix journey, especially letting it spread out over 12 weeks, it gives you the structure to do the work, be in a community, practice with each
yeah,
other, learn from each other, be inspired and uplifted together,
yeah.
and practice that muscle, exercising that muscle. And like I said to Dieter, he's now done the Star Matrix. This is his fourth time round. What other course? I don't know anybody who's done it, wants to do it that many times. It shows that the value in doing this,
Mm.
and the
Of course,
learning and the strengthening and the value of actually doing this and spending time doing it, not just knowing about it, but doing it. Doing it.
let me just say this. If you are one of these people who gets my Star Matrix book and honestly does the exercises when it says to do the exercises,
Yeah.
aka you can read it the book and da da da, that's the exercise. At that
Mhm.
point, you stop and you put down the book and you actually do the exercise.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you are one of these people, by all means, you do not need the Star Matrix course. But if you are not one of these people, by doing the Star Matrix course, you're literally forced to do the right exercises in the right
Yeah.
order and sequence, so
Yeah.
that when you come out of it, you're really good at it. You
Yeah.
know? So,
And you had the pleasure of the community
oh God,
and
yeah,
being in this lovely energy of uplifting with everybody together on
yeah.
this learning journey as well. It's
Well,
very beautiful.
one of the things is when one person tells a star memory, the other people start remembering their star memories.
Mm,
And this
mm,
is what happened when you were talking about your experience with your student there. And I saw that on the video, and I was like, yes, she's had a star event as
mm.
a therapist, as a facilitator.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, one of the fun things in Starline therapy, which is not called Star Matrix therapy, funnily enough,
Yeah. Mm,
it's called Starline therapy.
mm.
Um,
So why is that then? How come? What would you?
Oh, because we are dealing, instead of when we're doing Star Matrix, we're just learning how to reconnect with our positive memories.
Mm-hmm.
So, start out with random things and develop getting better at it, so we can then sort of couple of weeks in, we can start asking, uh, give me a star memory that is directly relevant to the problem that I'm having today.
Yeah.
So you can get better at it. And you learn what happens when you ask other people about their star memories.
Yeah.
Very important part of the star matrix process, and something that I'm super proud of, that there's people who've taken charge of their family's conversations for the first time in their entire lives, by being able to just stop something and ask or talk about a star memory or a shared experience, a positive shared experience, and bringing friends, families, mothers, fathers, daughters, sisters together in the memory and taking control of conversations and whole groups in that way. This is, I'm
Mm.
super proud.
Mm. Mm.
That's all part of basic star matrix.
Mm.
But see, here's the thing. This is something that would have been inconceivable under the old paradigm, the trauma only paradigm, is to have a person draw a line on a sheet of paper starting with X marks the spot, moment of birth,
Mm.
to today, age
Mm.
73, and say, okay, we're going to look at your entire life.
Mm.
We're going to find out what the title is of your book of life and how wrong you are about it. We're going to rewrite the story of your life, because what you thought was the story of your life is completely wrong, and this isn't true, and we're going to find out what it really is. And
Mm.
once you start putting a few star memories, just 10, on that line and start creating a star line,
Mm.
you are getting back the ability to deal with your entire life. With your entire life. You can zoom
Mm.
in, you can zoom out, you can identify what I call dark fields and bright fields. Dark fields when times were bad, bright fields when times were good. And we can go fishing for star memories in bright fields and in dark fields,
Mm.
learn amazing things. But what
Mm.
happens at the end of the day is that it rewrites the book of your life. All
Mm.
chapter headings change, and so as they do, of course, the chapter headings for the chapters that are still to be written must change as well. Because the book is no longer called My Miserable, Depressing, Traumatizing Life as a Victim to Everyone, in brackets, especially narcissists, close brackets, because that's not what your book of life is called anymore after you've done that. It's
Mm.
something else.
So it's like it's another version of like timeline therapy, where I've done it myself with my clients. I've said, okay, let's plot out your significant, painful events and which is the worst one. And we zoom in and we heal those events,
Uh-huh.
and that's, I'll still say
That's a lot of fun, and
that's
you can
still
do that
valid.
for
That still
forever
works.
if
That
you want. Yeah, sure. You can do that
it's valid as an
forever.
approach. This is just like another approach. And what's the value in this other approach? And let's learn about that. So, but then to look at the timeline and plot your star events on it, that's a different kind of a thing.
It is a
It's different.
completely different kind of a
Yeah.
thing. It is a
Yeah.
completely different kind of a thing. And right from the get-go, and I recommend the client should have recovered 25 star events. They should have done that before you go into Starline therapy.
Right.
Because the
So they
minute
can
you
plot
do
where
that,
they are. Yeah.
and
So
you
they can be
don't
plotted.
fall into trauma anymore. You're not so terrified of the trauma. This thing doesn't happen anymore. Where you say to a person, so what happened in 1997? And they immediately go, I was in a
Mm.
relationship with a narcissist and he
Mm.
disrespected me and beat me and
Mm.
I'm a victim and it was so
Mm.
terrible. And this trauma and that trauma and that trauma and that trauma. You know, we're not doing that anymore. We're doing something else. We can say, and this was one of my huge woohoos in Starline therapy, was, oh man, discovering what the aspects did to keep themselves safe when times were hard. what star events were in the dark fields, because there always were star events. One person discovered that when times get unbearable, they would go out and sit under a bush in the rain. They would just go outside into nature and just be in nature. And then slowly they would sort of recombobulate and they could face their misery afresh. By connecting with that
moment under the tree in the rain or whatever in nature, and tapping into that,
yeah,
and
tapping
uploading the energy of that moment and
tapping
embodying it.
into the admiration again. And this is so important, like the boy with the jellies in the sunshine. This is so important. Just tapping into, this person was in floods of tears, saying that aspect of mine suffered so much, and yet she knew what to do. She knew how to keep herself safe. She didn't go mad. She didn't bring out a shotgun and shot down the entire building. She knew what to do to survive. Oh my God. Oh wow. And there was this whole thing going on. But yeah, this is what
I can
people
feel some
need.
value of this in my own journey as well, because you know some of it, but there've been very challenging things personally going on, and I've spent a lot of time in the slump and having to get myself back up, and to actually spend time to dig out the star events in those times.
You don't have to dig. That's the other thing. You really do not have to dig. Once you got a little bit of practice and your energy mind answers that question, give me a relevant star memory. Give me a star memory from around 1996. And you might think, oh, I don't know what to do. Just if you can't remember that time at all, have a look at the popular music at the time, what movies were in the cinema, what's on television, the weird fashions people were wearing, and something will come to you, something will come to you, something positive, or from that terrible time where there was nothing positive and it was all trauma. And that, to me, what that does, it breaks the trauma spell. And after that has happened, you just can't be horrified or terrified of your own traumas anymore. You have a completely different attitude to your traumas, to the aspects who suffered the traumas. It's a complete, powerful sea change.
That's what happened to you in your personal journey in Star Matrix and Starline therapy, that if you look at in your own journey of discovery yourself, because I could see, like, from the outside, a change in you over the years, in your energy and your kind of flourishing and blossoming and more energy high, so something's happened for you personally out of this journey that you're in. So
this thing with fishing for star events in the dark fields. Well, I have the theory in my head. I know how it works in theory, but there's a huge difference between this theory in my head and being there in the room with that lady who connected with that aspect who sat under the tree in the rain and saved her own life, her own sanity, and displayed that same resilience and strength and inner power that little boy with the jellies, that experience, which was 25 years ago, those connected in me together. Because I have a theory. We may think we don't have enough star events in our lives. And I think we're right about that. We don't have enough star events. We should be having more and evolving more. And the system we are living under is set up that we have as little as possible, it seems, or only in sort of allowed circumstances. But I think that the majority of the missing stars are in fact the star stories of other people.
Because they also are star events, because they light you up in wonder. Witnessing other people's stories.
Yes,
creates change in you.
yes, it does.
Very wonderful. Very
It's not just
wonderful.
witnessing either. Witnessing is an idea from
Yeah,
old
being present
cycles.
too, you're being affected by it.
Yeah,
Like I say, wonderful is being full of wonder, of wow, isn't it?
yeah.
It's an energy event.
As energy people, not psychologists, we form powerful couple and group bubbles
Yeah,
with
yeah,
our clients, with our groups, and they become more than the sum of their parts. Information is exchanged, and when they evolve, we evolve. You can't not. And
yeah.
Dieter being a part of that group bubble, of course, he's going to evolve as well. He's also going to have a star event.
Mm,
So I think that the vast majority of our missing events are other people's star events. And we haven't asked them. We've just asked them about their bloody traumas instead.
mm, mm.
Damn it.
Yeah,
Can I
yeah.
tell you something funny about Starline therapy?
Mm,
This happened very, very quickly into writing the manuscript. I started to talk about, instead of therapist and client, I started talking about star therapists and star clients.
mm. Would you
Oh,
like to be a star client?
yeah. Would you like to be a star therapist? Because we are going to be working with star events. So we're not going to be working with trauma. We're going to work with star events. And that makes
Mm,
us a star therapist working with a star client.
mm,
And I absolutely love that. And
mm.
I love the presupposition and the setup of this, which is that a star therapist awaits their star client in huge excitement.
Well,
In
yeah,
quite,
because we know what we're going to be having an experience of. We know what's
yeah,
kind of something about what's going to be happening. Yeah.
and these clients, they're instead of sacks of trauma walking into the therapy room, they're
They're
sacks
sexist
of
stars.
stars.
Yeah.
And there
Mm,
may be a star among those, which is exactly the one that you need to evolve to answer your questions, to get
mm,
over your
mm,
problems or whatever the hell it is. And this this
mm,
this is what makes then a star therapist. They
mm.
see their clients as a star matrix. There's a star matrix walking into my room. And that excitement and looking at a person through those eyes, not with big shields and
Yeah.
I'm Dr. Hartman, sit over there in the chair, there's my certificates on the wall. Not that kind of thing, or oh hello, how are you today? None of this crapola, but with
Mm.
wow, hi, I'm Sylvia. You must be Sandra. Please come inside. Come inside.
Can't
Come,
wait to
come in.
get to,
I am
get
so
started to
happy
work
to
with
see
you.
you
Yeah.
today. I'm so excited about what we're going to discover. You might
Mm.
not say that to a client,
Yeah.
but
Mm.
that would be the energy of excitement and acceptance. And have I personally waited for anybody in my entire life to ever greet me that way?
Mm.
You
Mm.
know, this is just a paradigm shift of epic proportions.
Mm.
And also
Mm.
to think that the client who's sitting in front of you is your star client. Every one of them, the
Mm.
star client. Because we're going to do star matrix, we're going to work with their star events. I love that. Absolutely love that. Starline therapy is just awesome. It's really brilliant. And I just
Mm.
wish the world to have a go at it and have those experiences. And I'm just talking to the audience now here. This wow experience when you are in the presence and somebody evolves, somebody has that big threshold shift. There is there is nothing like it. It's
Mm.
wow. And you don't feel big-headed afterwards. You feel humble and just I can't believe that I was allowed to be a part of this.
Mm. Mm. Well, I have to say also that, in our other approaches, when we create healing events from a stress event, we also get that because we have that, spiritual states of love and gratitude. And we have a similar thing that we've brought about a healing event. That's that experience as a therapist is there
Yeah,
also
sure.
in that approach. But knowing one important like learning for me is just coming in, like if I can share it. There was one person who I had a star event which he hadn't recognized, because immediately following it, something traumatic happened. So he
Yes.
always remembered that moment
Yeah.
in a painful way.
Yeah.
And so I was very interested to see what would be the effect of actually tapping and acknowledging the star event that happened just before the trauma happened.
Yeah.
And the shine that came from it, the light that was uncovered, outshone. It cast the light on the area in the room, if you like, of that
Yeah.
that kind of part of his map of his events. And I learned and saw, well, okay, so it does work. So that does diminish the darkness of around it,
Yes.
by finding the star event in that dark field
Yeah.
and opening it up, casts a light that makes our perception of that time different.
Yes. That's correct. I
Yeah,
mean, this is something that I can't get into here. I would love to discuss that further at some point
yeah,
because I've
yeah,
got some insights on that as well.
yeah.
Something that I would like to highlight here, the difference between uh, even doing email or tapping on negative and then working up the SUS scale, getting the
Mhm.
energized end state, which we totally can do, and
We know works, we can do
yeah,
it, we know
yeah.
that exists and it's good as well. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I would say the huge difference between that and Starline therapy, or just Star Matrix therapy, if you want to do that, is that this thing comes out of the client. It explodes out of the client. It's their aspect, it's their star memory, it's what they experienced. That's the huge and enormous difference between that and everything else. I know we, send love to aspects and all the rest of it, but this thing where the person just, it's their power,
Mm,
it's their own power that's come out. And
yeah.
instead of us like having, I don't know, showered them with diamonds or done some magical thing, the magical thing that we as the star therapists did was to help that person become empowered. And that's a different thing to do rather than rolling a boulder up a hill.
Mm,
Number one, it's easier, but number two, it's perfect. It's what the client needs. That's what they needed to connect with their own power, with their own strength, to really have these wow experiences where, like my boy with the orange jellies, could never look at himself as a victim again. Never,
mm,
never came back.
mm.
Even in
That's
high
amazing. If that is true, that never came back, that
never
just
came back.
transformed him. That is really
Completely
amazing.
transformed. It did. Yeah,
Mm,
transformed it.
mm, mm.
I mean, we were talking about the star events in the vicinity to a trauma.
Yeah.
I had a PTSD client. This is written up as the red bucket story. He was on in one of those hot countries, fighting battles, driving along with his people, and a woman came up and she's carrying a red bucket and blew herself up and blew up the entire group of people. And so he had serious PTSD. He was nightmaring over this thing all the time.
Yeah.
Any kind of plastic bucket would be a massive trigger, and the red plastic bucket, oh, forget it, total abreaction, you know,
Mm,
shaking, nervous breakdown, unconsciousness, the whole 9 yards. And I found star memory there, which happened again in the close proximity, only about 5 hours or so before this thing happened with the red bucket.
mm.
Where he was with his group and they were standing there in the sunshine talking, and he felt so good, so strong, part of this group and these loving comrades, powerful group bubble.
Yeah.
He was the youngest of them. All the others were older, more experienced, and he
Mm,
felt so proud to be a part of this group.
mm.
And what happened? And I didn't do a damn thing. Again, I didn't do anything. I just directed him to the star memory.
Mm.
I didn't even care about the trauma. I was just in this star memory. So he has this moment of, wow, yes, that was one of the best moments of my life. And
Mm.
I know I can be a part of a wonderful group, and I know I can love, and I know I can be loved by my friends
Mm.
and supported. And so I didn't even bring that up. I didn't want to spoil it by bringing up any
Mm.
red plastic buckets or anything.
Mm.
But he just turned around to me and looked me in the eye and said, I choose to remember my friends in that moment, not in bits all over the road.
Mm.
And I was like, whoa.
Mm.
And that guy I kept a track with, and he did not have the PTSD flashbacks anymore. He still had the odd when he saw
Mm.
color red on the corner of his eye moving around.
Mm.
But what he would then do is just evoke that picture of the
Mm.
group of the loved friends in the sunshine. That's what he would evoke. And then the energy system calmed down and it got there to be less and less over time.
Mm.
So, yeah,
So that became like a remedy to keep, in other words, to keep plugging into that,
yeah,
to keep accessing and
that
feeling that,
energy.
experiencing that energy healed the remnants of the trauma of the
Yeah.
event
And the
eventually. Mm.
and the sort of, I don't know, body reflexes or whatever else plays into that,
Mm.
because he still, when something sort of red came by in the background there,
Mm.
he'd
Mm.
still go "Ugh," and
Yeah.
recognize, okay, that's what that
Mm.
is.
Yeah.
I choose to remember my friends on that day
Yeah.
and love in the sunshine.
Yeah.
So he
By
brings it from,
conscious, deliberate choice of plugging into that as
yes,
well. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
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 But then
Which
that
gets
is,
easier, which would get easier with practice. You know, the first training and the repeating pattern, it becomes easier to do that. Yeah.
oh God, yeah, yeah. But the thing is that I'm not offering Starline therapy as trauma treatment.
Mm.
I'm offering, if you want to do trauma treatment, please go there. Everyone in the world does trauma treatment.
Mm.
I'm offering Starline therapy for people who want to stop victimhood, stop with the story of their life where everybody's putting them down and taking advantage of them and disrespecting them and hurting them and is out to get them and life hates them and God hates them and all that. People who are tired of that, people who are tired of going through more traumas in therapy, and who actually want to do something else, something uplifting, something that will help them evolve and make them stronger and happier. And the same for therapists, people who want to become star therapists and have people walk in and bring their stars to them.
Mm. Mm.
Bring their stars to them. Because I think that solves the problem of the embittered therapists who give so much and receive so little. Now, if you're a
Mm.
star therapist, you can't say that anymore.
Mm.
Can't say that anymore. You will
Mm.
receive in spades. You will probably receive. Look, I think people are therapists because deep down they know that the clients, each one has a gift to give to them, and that they need that gift to evolve. And that's why they are therapists.
Mm.
I believe that. And I believe that this endless trauma stuff has made it super hard and strenuous, even with energy work. It's hard work starting with a massive trauma and then slowly working your way, paddling like crazy, and
Mm.
it
Mm.
gets faster in the end as you're going towards that waterfall where the
Mhm.
evolution finally happens. It does. And
Mm.
it's definitely better than whatever there was happening there before.
Mm.
However, if you're not having to paddle like crazy and you're starting on a completely different footing with a client who's excited and they want to know more about themselves
Mm.
and they really want to use this new tool to try and solve their life's problems, their repeated life patterns, want better self-esteem so they're happier in their own skin, whatever. That's
Mm.
really that's really what Starline therapy is for. And
Mm.
it's just fun, exciting,
Mm.
brilliant. And it does totally change the way people think about their traumas.
Yeah.
Changes the way people think about their traumas.
Yeah.
They
Well,
shrink
it's
down from
something.
silent demons
Yeah,
into
it
this.
sets me up just like, my own human journey. It makes me think, okay, yeah, I want to do that. I want to make that change. I want to make that adjustment in myself as well. I want to do that for me. Yeah.
Yeah, change the
Mm.
story of your life. And that it's not
Mm.
about the past. I have to reiterate that one more time before we go. It's like we're writing this book of life as we're going along. And consciously, we put in these chapter headings. Like chapter 1, my mother never loved me. Oh, man. Chapter 2, misery at preschool. Chapter
Mm.
3, bullying at middle school. Chapter
Mm.
4. If you write a book of life like that, then all the following chapters will be another chapter.
Mm.
Chapter
On that journey. On that.
65, misery and rejection in the old folks' home.
Mm.
You know,
Mm.
listing the traumas in the old folks' home because that, you're setting that tone.
Mm.
But you start rewriting that a bit, then the new chapters, the chapters that we still have to live, they change.
Mm.
They change as well. Of course they do.
Mm.
And that's Star Matrix and Starline therapy isn't about the past. It's about the future.
Setting ourselves up for a different future. Yeah.
It's about the
Mm.
future. Hey,
Mm.
can I finish with my a first glimpse of the Starline therapy poster?
Yeah, do. Yeah. Let's have a look.
There it is. From a new past arises a new future. Sylvia Hartman, Starline therapy. Woohoo!
Okay. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
part of my Star Matrix Legacy project.
Mm.
So I'm
Yeah.
super
I,
happy.
I just want to say something else just before we finish as well, of kind of recognition for you, Sylvia, and the GOE and what it stands for, because we have lots of we have new people come and join the GOE, and there's lots of energy trainings around, and so which ones to choose. And one of the things I have to say about the Guild of Energies, with your leadership and your creativity and your research and exploration, is like we're always pushing back the frontiers
Yeah.
of knowledge, of
Yes.
conscious understanding of how we work and about energy. And so, yes, we keep getting new courses, and not everybody can keep up, but you can go at your own pace.
Yeah.
But in other places where they've got their kind of set of trainings, and then they're doing them year after year after year after year. The
After
value of doing that
decade after
is,
decade.
well, the value of that is other institutions can get them accredited, and they can stay accredited, and that kind of thing, so people can go and get recognized that way. But they're not learning, they're not growing in the same way as the GOE. So the GOE for me stands for evolution,
Oh
which
yeah.
is what we're trying to do. It's
Yes.
embodying evolution. And that's because of you, Sylvia, and your creativity, that we are really fortunate to have you be around you in this community with your who you are and how you are, and your passion to explore, and courage to kind of
Oh yeah.
break out into a new area and stand there and say, it's like this.
Yes.
Look at this,
Yeah.
look in this direction and try it. That takes courage. And so I just want to give recognition to you for
Thank you
that.
so much.
I'm grateful that this is the association that I'm in, as a trainer as well as an energist, for learning and growing and evolving.
Oh, we just had our 100th trainer.
Really?
Uh-huh. Threshold shift.
Wow.
We've
Wow.
got 100 trainers in the GOE in
Yeah.
2023. There'll be a
Yeah.
few more. And I had the voice say to me, Star Matrix is the way. Star
Mm.
Matrix is the way.
Mm.
Getting people to start paying attention to their happy memories. That
Mm.
is the way forward to make people stronger, make them happier. get back together with people they've broken up with, their families, with their grandparents, something to talk about when you visit a grandparent in an old
mm,
people's home, just to cheer them up and really see them come to life before your eyes.
mm, mm.
Learn something interesting. If
Before I embarked on the journey, looking from the outside, it can raise questions like, well, aren't you avoiding this and bypassing that? And and the
yeah,
question is, you have to engage with it, have an experience, see what it does to you, and see what the consequences of that are in your life, to
yeah.
then make a conclusion about what it does or doesn't do. So,
I am
I'm still on my
100%
learning
happy.
journey.
I'm 100% happy to say, are you avoiding this? Yes. I'm avoiding the crying, the sobbing, the endless tissues, the howling, the rolling around on the floor. I'm avoiding all of that. Are you bypassing that? Yes, I am. Are you short circuiting this? Yes, yes, absolutely. It needs to be bloody short circuited. Every time we put our energy body in these terrible traumatic states that aren't even necessary, that aren't even here and now, we're not doing them any favors at all. Really not. I'm leaving all of that to the psychologists, because we are not psychology. We're third field. We are modern energy. Star Matrix is a modern energy modality.
Hmm.
Sandra, we have run out of time. I
Yeah,
was
good
absolutely
chat.
so happy. I was so delighted to hear you have that star event with your lady who unfolded. And
Hmm.
that was such a great thing, because that's exactly what I'm talking about in Starline therapy. That's
Hmm.
that thing. It's not just about the client. It's about the client and the therapist
Hmm.
coming together as human beings and having these awesome star experiences. And both of them go home and write each other's names in their
Hmm.
book of stars.
Yeah,
Now,
being a
isn't
star person to the,
yes,
yeah, that means it means something. Yeah, yeah.
yes,
Mm,
I'm getting goosebumps at the very thought of that.
mm,
And that
mm,
then this has so much to do with breaking that hierarchy that gets in the way between therapists and clients.
mm,
It levels the playing field. We have two human beings putting our intelligence together, and when we do, something magical emerges. And
mm.
this is so lovely. I want to thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to have a fabulous experience with a Star Matrix training, 12 weeks of learning,
Happiness, learning and
the
happiness.
first steps of actually finding out who you really are, the first steps, and what you find, instead of this miserable, downtrodden creature, you find a glowing core
Mm,
self that shows itself briefly in these star moments. But the more of them you collect, the more this core self becomes revealed. This
mm,
is who you are. This is who you've always been from a small child. This has never changed. And this is what you're going to be going forward. But let that expand, and yeah, that is your light within. And
mm.
we need to rediscover our own light within.
Yeah,
So thank you so much for your time this morning.
yeah. Thank you, Sylvia. Yeah,
Lovely,
enjoyed
lovely
the chat.
lady.
Mm.
Can you give my love to your students, please?
Will
So
do,
thank you so much.
definitely. Yeah,
And yeah, we'll have another chat about doing Starline therapy later
yeah. Down the line, yeah, when
on down
it's
the line
ready.
when we know more.
Okay, bye for
Thank you
now.
for listening, everybody. Lots of love.
Bye.
Bye for now.